Washington Drive second graders. Mrs. Ambrosio here with an awesome book for you today. It is an awesome book. It is called Salt in His Shoes. It is about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. It is written by Dolores Jordan and Rosalind Jordan. Dolores Jordan, I believe, is his mom, and Dolores is his sister. It was illustrated by Kadir Nelson. Now, I'm not going to read you the little book talk. I'm going to read you the dedication, part of it, by the author, Dolores. This is what she hopes you're going to get out of the book. And I have to say, me too. It is my hope that young readers and listeners will be motivated by this book to follow their dreams just as Michael followed his. By setting goals, working hard, and being dedicated. It is only when we do this that our dreams can and do come true. For that reason, I dedicate this book to the many children who are inclined to say, I can't, or I wish I had talent, or I wish I were gifted. Isn't that interesting? Well, people can do things, they can, but they don't wake up one day the most amazing musician or the most amazing basketball player. They just don't. Like his mom knows because she saw him, and you're going to hear more about it. People who achieve their dreams worked really hard for them. They worked really hard, and we can develop our talents. We're just not born amazing like that. We're born amazing so that we can do amazing things, right? Like you've been doing this whole time, like your teachers have been doing, your parents, right? Everybody's born amazing, but we have to put in the work. Let's read it one more time. She says what Michael did was by setting goals, working hard, and being dedicated. Let's read. Michael loved to play basketball. Every Saturday, he followed his older brothers, Larry and Ronnie, to the park, hoping that they would let him play. And if one of the guys who usually played with them didn't show, they always did. But there was one problem. His name was Mark, and he was the tallest boy on the court. What's the matter, Mikey? Too short? Mark flapped his arms in Michael's face. Over here, shouted Larry. But when Michael threw the ball, Mark's long arms came out of nowhere and knocked the ball away. It flew into the hands of a player on Mark's team. He made that basket and the game was over. Just like that. So he didn't always get to play, and then he played, and it didn't go so well, did it? That boy was mean to him, but he was bigger and stronger, right? Okay. I am really sorry, guys. If I were taller, that wouldn't have happened. All the way home, Michael apologized, even though no one was mad at him. His oldest brother, Ronnie, tried to cheer him up. Look, little brother, you played good today. Don't worry, we'll win the next time. So there's little Michael. He's being super hard on himself, right? But his brothers are being really, really nice. And he's saying there's going to be another game. There's going to be a next time. If you don't quit, there always will be a next time, right? When they got home, Michael went into the kitchen where Mama was cooking dinner. He was still disappointed, and she could tell. You guys lost again today, huh? Michael nodded. He sat quietly for a minute, then said, Mama, how can I grow taller? Now, Mama knew the answer to a lot of questions, but that was a tough one. She thought for a moment as she sprinkled salt and pepper on the chicken she was making for dinner. Then she smiled, looked at Michael, and said, "Salt." "Salt?" Michael looked at Mama. "Salt in your shoes. We'll put salt in your shoes and say a prayer every night. Before you know it, you'll be taller," she replied. Now, the name of the book is Salt in His Shoes, right? So now we know what it means. They are going to literally put salt in his shoes. They're going to do it. Before you know it, you'll be told. Do you think it's going to work? Some of you are nodding your head yes, and some are saying no way. Some of you are looking for the salt. "Salt in my shoes?" Michael said quietly to himself. Surely Mama was teasing. He sat staring out of the window, trying to figure out how salt was going to help him grow. He noticed the rose bushes outside in Mama's garden. They had grown high along the fence, and roses of all colors were blooming on the vines. He thought to himself, I remember when Mama first planted those bushes. Michael's face lit up. If Mama knows how to make the rose bushes grow taller, then maybe she's right. Maybe salt in my shoes will really help me grow. I like how Mama said it. I like that he was then sitting there going, it's got to be a joke. But I want to be taller. And then he looks and he sees proof that Mama's pretty smart. The proof is in her gorgeous roses. Interesting. Growing more excited, Michael twirled around and started asking lots of questions. Mama, how long will it take? And how tall do you think I'll get? Smiling, Mama sat down next to him and explained, in order for this to work, the most important things you have to do are be patient and listen to what I tell you and say your prayers every night. Listening carefully, Michael shook his head. Okay, Mama, I'll be patient. But what does saying my prayers have to do with it? Whose mom tells them to be patient? My mom still tells me to be patient. I whispered because she lives here. Everything, Mama replied, and she hugged him. Now go wash up and tell your brothers and sisters to get ready for dinner. So he wants to know what his prayers have to do with it, and she tells him everything. What she means is that he needs to have faith. Michael dashed out of the kitchen, almost knocking over his father, who was walking in. What's he up to now? Asked Daddy. Oh, the usual, laughed Mama. Chasing a dream. But Mama knows. I can tell Mama's super smart already. First of all, she grows gorgeous roses. She cooks delicious dinner. She loves her son fiercely, right? She's listening to his problems. She's talking to him. She's got a sense of humor. Funny people are usually smart. And she's telling him to have faith, to believe in his dreams. That's what she means. Later, during dinner, Mama noticed that Michael was barely eating anything. He was already daydreaming about being taller. Michael, first things first, you won't grow if you don't eat. Especially your vegetables, Mama said. That feels familiar, doesn't it? I think I might have said it last night. But I'm not really hungry, he said. Raising her eyebrows, Mama gave him a stern look. Slowly, Michael picked up his fork and began to eat. Minutes later, his plate was clean and he was asking for more. Whose mom gives them the mom look? You don't even have to say anything. It's just, and it means eat your vegetables. That evening at bedtime, Michael set his favorite game shoes on the floor next to the growth chart hanging on the wall. Then he put on his pajamas, said his prayers, and jumped into bed. So he's got a growth chart on the wall. I bet tons of you have those, or just a little piece of, little mark of pencil on the wall to show how you're growing. When Mama came in, Michael was fast asleep. By the look on his face, she could tell he was already playing basketball in his dreams. Standing by his bed, Mama sprinkled salt in his shoes. Then she prayed quietly over him as she did all her children. Dear God, this is her prayer. Please help Michael to be the best he can be and to give him best in all that he does. And Lord, could you please just make him a little bit taller tomorrow than he is today? Thank you. Amen. After that night, Michael wore his favorite game shoes everywhere he went, even to church. And he stopped going to the park with his brothers on Saturdays. Instead, he stayed home and practiced. He wanted to grow a few more inches before he went back to the park. But now, he's practicing on Saturdays instead of going and trying to play with the kids. What do you think is going to have more of an effect on his basketball playing? Practicing? Or putting salt in his shoes? Maybe there's different ways that they're going to have an effect. After 2 months of practicing, 2 months, and waiting patiently and praying, Michael stood next to the growth chart on his wall. Nothing. He hadn't grown an inch. He was disappointed, but he did not stop believing. I've just got to give it time, like Mama said, Michael thought to himself. That's what he did. Now, he's being very patient. Is he just sitting around patiently, though? Or is he filling his time with basketball? 2 more months of practicing went by, and still nothing. Now Michael was becoming a little sad. Not only had he not grown 1 inch, but he also missed playing basketball with Larry and Ronnie. About the only thing he didn't miss was being picked on by Mark. When the next Saturday came, his brothers tried to get Michael to go with them to the park, but he wouldn't budge. Mama had begun to worry. When she saw Michael sitting alone on the steps, she said to Daddy, "Maybe you should go out and talk to him." What do you think Dad's gonna say? Go to the park and play? We're so proud of you. Why are you giving up? Or maybe basketball's not your thing? What do you think Dad's gonna say? Let's find out. So Daddy went out and sat with Michael. "What's wrong, son? You haven't gone to the park with your brothers for a while now. Are you okay?" Michael didn't say anything at first. Then he looked at Daddy and said, "I thought I would at least be a few inches taller by now. I did everything Mama told me to do, but nothing's happened." "Michael, why do you want to be taller?" Daddy asked. "If I were taller, I'd be a great player, and I could help our team win," Michael answered. "But you are a great player, son, and you already have everything it takes to be a winner. Right in here." Daddy tapped Michael on the chest. "Being taller may help you play a little better, but not as much as practice, determination, and giving your best will. Those are the things that make you a real winner. Michael thought about what Daddy said for a minute. Then suddenly, he jumped up and took off. "Where are you going?" Daddy yelled after him. "I've got a game today and I'm late," Michael yelled back. He's feeling better from Dad's advice. When Michael reached the park, the game had started. He sat on the bench hoping he would get a chance to play, and he did. The game was almost over and the score was tied when John, one of the guys on Michael's team, fell and hurt himself. Here was Michael's chance. Michael joined his team in the huddle, right? This is where you get together in the huddle in sports and you talk about the next play. Michael joined his team in the huddle as they gathered on the sideline for a timeout. "Okay, the game is tied. All we need is 1 point. Who wants to take the shot?" Ronnie asked. He looked in Michael's direction, feeling more confident than ever. Michael said, "I'll do it." Look at this picture. This boy is much taller. When the whistle blew and the game began, Mark began to pick on Michael as usual. "Still trying to play with the big boys, huh?" Mark taunted. But Michael paid him no attention. Taller or not, he had been practicing, and he was determined to win. Larry threw the ball inbounds to Michael. Michael caught it, bounced it for a moment, and then took off running. As he approached Mark, Michael shifted to his right. Mark followed, but while he was still shifting, Michael spun to his left. He stepped behind Mark and shot. The ball arced far above the opponent's hands and fell silently through the hoop. 2 points! The game was over. Michael's team had won. It was just as Michael had dreamed. When he realized what he had done, Michael took off running and didn't stop until he reached home. Who do you think he's going to talk to? Bursting through the door, he shouted, "I did it! Daddy, I did it! I shot right over the tall guy's head and we won the game!" Running in behind him, Ronnie and Larry joined the celebration. "That's right, little brother. You did it. You won the game for us." Michael remembered the look that Ronnie gave him during the last timeout of the game and said, "No, we won the game, but I was the star." They all laughed. After that day, Mama stopped putting salt in Michael's shoes. But Michael did not stop being patient and working hard and praying. Mrs. Ambrosio always gets choked up. Let's read that line again, because it's kind of the whole thing. After that day, Mama stopped putting salt in Michael's shoes, but Michael did not stop being patient and working hard and praying. Wow. So yeah, amazing. Here's the last page with an illustration, right, of the real Michael Jordan. So that must be what made Michael grow to be a 6 foot, 6 inch tall basketball superstar. And he is, I think, one of the most famous basketball players in the world. Amazing. Well, I hope you guys were inspired by this book. I know I was. I am. I've read it many times, and I just think it's so amazing that his mom, again, says she wants children to get out of this book to be like Mike. I think there was a song, I want to be like Mike, right? To set goals, work hard, and be dedicated. Well, if there are any students to do all those things for themselves, it's the Washington Drive students. You guys are amazing. Have an awesome day.